What's up, everybody? I am back, and for the upcoming weeks, I'll be covering, in terms of movie reviews, my favorite James Bond films. So I can't cover them all, and there's a few that I just don't want to watch altogether because uh, there's a few that suck to some capacity. But I want to cover all the ones that I've enjoyed immensely, at least, two or three per era. Well, at least era in terms of Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig. Those that I grew up watching in terms of James Bond films. So the first two I'll be covering today are Sean Connery films. And in this video, I'll be covering From Russia with Love. So leave a comment below. Let me know how you rank all those James Bond films. So, yeah. And personally, I grew up in the era of Pierce Brosnan James Bond. And that is just my personal favorite James Bond. And of course, I think Sean Connery will be a good close second. Although, depending on you catch me on the day, it can waver one way or the other. And I say Daniel Craig, at least early on, he would have been like, he easily is number three. Now, there's no shade to Timothy Dalton. There's at least maybe one Timothy Dalton I actually like. And all the other previous ones, it's like, I don't really rank them all that high. But yeah, Daniel Craig, he kind of ended on a whimper. But there is a few of his films that I thoroughly enjoyed. And he wasn't like a bad casting for James Bond in general. But the way they ended his reign as James Bond is more so on a whimper because they kind of sissified him a bit, for lack of a better word. And, him more in touch with his sensitivity. It's during that, time frame where uh, they really infeminize masculinity, where James Bond is not that steely eyed, killer that takes down criminals for queen of country, that bangs women, drinks his martinis, shaken, not stirred. Which, side note, I tried. It's really good. Do yourself a favor and try it. And just it just it's one of those characters that embodies the guy, the inner guy, a guy's guy kind of thing, and it kind of got him like. It's not the same like James Bond in the past hasn't like taken a girl seriously, but it isn't always like a mainstay. He always got like a different girl under his arm every movie, if not, you know, uh, every couple of movies. Uh, and he's rebooted quite a bit of times, and back to sort of square one. And it's like I just didn't. We'll get to it once we get to Daniel Craig's films, but that very last film I'm not covering at all because I really kind of like the way they ended is just like not a way you would end a James Bond film because eventually he needs to be rebooted. And they was like toying with the notion of making a Jane Bond because there was like a black woman that clearly was trying to sell to be like the next like 007 but a woman. And as Jenna Ortega so succinctly put it, we need to stop trying to apply female stuff on male things. I kind of, I'm not saying it verbatim, but you catch my drift where you know, make a female, if you want like a female spy film, make your own thing. Start trying to apply a female thing on a male thing. It does not work, and that's what it was trying to. Hollywood is trying to be slick and trying to worm their way into a because the last couple of movies you clearly see like a bunch of very girl power type of females that's kind of slowly but surely kind of pushing the male leads to the side. It was a whole thing, and clearly the society said no, and Hollywood's like, okay, they caught on to us, we got to back off, and they eventually they'll make a new James Bond with a man, a British man, handsome, debonair, kills for a queen of country, to stop bad guys and bang a bunch of women. It's the guy fantasy. Anyway, 1 second here. But anyway, as I said before, we'll get to the Daniel Craig stuff soon because I might reiterate a couple of things here and there, but because there's a lot to say with that. Anyway, so From Russia with Love, directed by Terrence Young, and stars Sean Connery as James Bond, MI6 agent, uh, Pedro Armendariz as Ali Karim Bey, head of MI6 uh, Station T in Istanbul. Lalette Lenya as Rosa Klebb, former Colonel turned Spectre operative, uh, formerly from Smersh, a Soviet counterintelligence agency. Robert Shaw as Donald Grant, a Spectre assassin. Bernard Lee as M. Daniela Bianchi as Tatiana Romanova as a Soviet consulate clerk, the Bond love interest. Oh, I didn't know this. Daniela's dialogue was dubbed by an uncredited Barbara Jaffor, I guess because she couldn't speak fluent English steadily. It tends to happen. You see that happen a lot in like kung fu movies. Eunice not Grayson, Gayson as Sylvia Trent's Bond's semi-regular girlfriend. Walter Kotel as Morzeni, Spectre Thug. Uh, uh, Lois Maxwell as Miss Moneypenny, M's secretary. Now, we have Vladek Shebal as Kronstein, number 5, as the Czechoslovak chess grandmaster and Spectre agent. Now, I gotta make a note of this because it's probably the most consistent thing with a lot of these James Bond films. I love the banter, the flirty banter between Moneypenny and James Bond. It's always so cheesy but funny, and M just constant interrupts like stop. I hear you guys. It was like you done flirting, get back to work, that kind of thing. Is it's fun. It's like that's probably one of the just the lighthearted moments you get in this kind of action, these action films. Those little lighthearted banters, and of course the puns. James Bond always has to come with a witty pun with these fights, or after a good sweet kill, it's got to have a pun to back it up. And and of course we need him to bang all these little female Bond girls, and the Bond girls has to have some kind of pun on their name, like Pussy Galore, which will be in the next film that I'll be reviewing. Uh, Crap, I'm blanking on it that quickly. I just had it in my brain. Goldfinger, and it's like, yeah, 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 that's part of the fun of this world. Of course, James Bond uh, was created from the novelization of uh, 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 what was the from the Ian Fleming books. So yeah, man, I haven't read any of the books. I'm pretty sure there's a, a handful of people here and there who probably read the Ian Fleming James Bond novels. But I'm pretty sure for the most part they're probably British fans that actually read those and seen the films. I never read any of the books. I'm pretty sure, like many other adaptations from books, there's a few things that wasn't translated to the big screen. Anyway, uh, we got Spectra trying to uh, set up an assassination attempt against James Bond after the after he defeated Doctor No in a previous film. So they set up uh, Grant as like the. Here's the thing: we see him being trained to kill a kind of like a setup in a test, like a field test, where somebody disguised as with like a fake mask of James Bond, and try to see like, okay, we see him uh take down this uh pretty much world famous spy. Which one of the biggest criticism of James Bond is the fact that he's supposed to be a spy, which means that he probably shouldn't be giving out his actual name because he introduces him Bond, James Bond. And it's like you shouldn't really give out your real name, especially if you're trying to be clandestine. It kind of it's like counterintuitive by the fact that your career is a spy. But that aside, what it wasn't very clarified. I wish I kind of got a more out of this film. The fact that, okay, you're trying to train this specific assassin in order to be kind of like a anti James Bond, like the perfect James Bond assassin, knowing full well that James Bond is probably the most decorated spy from British intelligence. And so you set up this mock testing thing, and this guy is supposed to be dressed up in like a James Bond mask. Okay, how well is he trained in this? Is he trained in the same style as James Bond? Because if not, that's not a perfect test. Yeah, sir, you killed some goober in like a mask. That's not really like a true test. But Grant ends up killing this guy, and they say like, "Oh, he's ready." Like, is he? Like, James Bond's a very well trained uh, agent. It's not really much of a test if some dude isn't trained in the same degree or closely the same degree to make it like a good, proven record. Anyway, so they set up. They got this grandmaster chess player uh, to set up this um, scheme, this plan to lure Bond out. So Kleb, who trains assassins, and she set up where Grant and other people, are stationed in places, per the plan. They kind of try to do this unified thing in order to lure Bond out to get this operative to take him out permanently. So they use this cipher device called the Lecter, uh, and Kleb get this cryptographer from the Soviet, what was it? So not consulate. Uh, Romanova, Tatiana, who is a cipher clerk, from the consulate. And under the guise, thinking, Kleb is still part of Smersh, which is a fun word to say. It's kind of like Smash, but Smersh. Uh, 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 so, knowing that women is one of Bond's biggest kind of weaknesses because he's so charming and he loves the ladies, he's not gonna lose the opportunity to try to hook up with a chick. And so word gets out to M that this cipher clerk wants to defect to the West, and she can help with this Lecter MacGuffin thing, and tried to search for it and get it out to MI6. Thinking it's a possible trap, but don't want to lose the opportunity in case it's not, agrees to try to help defector to the West. So Bond ends up going to meet up with a fellow agent in Istanbul. What's his name? Karim Bey, who is dealing with, after they figure out some agents that might be working for Spectre, uh, he experiences some assassination attempts. They end up going to this what do you call it? Kind of like not a hut, but it's a little mini little village set up by some gypsies, where Bond is taking witness of a dispute where two women are fighting over a guy, where I guess one's wanted to be with him as a wife, the others, is fooling around with him. So it's kind of like I forgot the context. I watched this like earlier this week, and I'm blanking on the exact details. But the solid disagreement is with them fighting, and one of them has to submit. And of course, Bond is instructed not to interfere. Now, as I'm watching this, I'm thinking to myself, man, throughout a lot of the world's problems, at least half of them could easily be solved by just some kind of Mortal Kombat Street Fighter type of fight, where the loser has to submit once they clearly are beaten, and wherever the winner is, solve it. They're right. I'm not saying that it works with every little thing, but if push comes to shove, if they can't solve it with words and dialogue, I was like, instead of going to some big old war, have the people who are so closely tied to the dispute, have them kind of just fight it out and be done with it. just fight it out and just, you know, I, I'm just saying it could easily solve many issues. Not all of them. Like I said, like that should be like our last resort. If push comes to shove, uh, but then the village gets attacked by the enemies of Bay. He ends up getting wounded, but uh, uh, Grant, who's been following Bond, is keeping him alive, setting up, stuff where he gets to the Lecter and just positions himself properly, so uh, they can, while his guard is down, take him complete out. Uh, don't know. Well, they trying to. The plan is trying to set him up, and in the process, because you might wonder why he has perfect opportunity to take him out. Why don't they do it? Well, they Spectre doesn't want to just take Bond out. That's their prime objective, but they want to add the cherry on top by ruining the reputation of British intelligence, so they won't not only interfere with any future plans of Spectre, but also they won't get the added help, and their reputation completely is ruined. So they are in a better position to essentially, more global takeover potentially in the future. Uh, so, uh, Bay ends up taking out the guy who tried to assassinate him before him and Bond leave on the Orient Express. Uh, After Bond meets up with Tatiana, who sneaks in his bedroom, and while they are hooking up, being watched by Kleb and the Spectre agents. I don't know what he's going to do with all those spying equipment. I guess. Oh yeah, I guess that adds to the whole blackmail affair they're trying to set up, because they want to set up like a murder suicide kind of situation, with a blackmail cherry on top once they finally take out Bond. So all that is just being piled up. Uh, so um, once they board a train, which Grant is already on, keeping watch over everything. Uh, there's another Soviet agent that's tried to uh, go after them, but Bay and Bond spot him, pretty quickly. They held Bay hold him at gunpoint, but when Bond leaves the cabin room, Grant shows up, kill both of them, and of course, this upsets Bond. He then questions Tatiana, who, and I know it's like it was during the '60s, mind you. Uh, uh, Bond backhands her because the fact that he's not only upset that he lost a good friend, but the fact that she clearly wasn't coming clean about completely everything. She knows something. Uh, and of course, you still got that kind of viral clip from Sean Connery's one of his last interviews before he passed. Sometimes I wonder, deserve a good slap. Not that something many guys would, not any guy would condone really, but it was during the '60s, and the fact, not that it was an excuse. Even back then, it's very rare you see like a guy just blatantly just abuse a woman. But even still, she hasn't defected yet, and clearly she was hiding something. But also, my biggest gripe is the fact that she just so head over heels with this guy after hooking up with him only a couple of times, and when she like, you know, as Bond was trying to record her information about the Lecter, she keeps like interjecting some stuff. Lady, he's recording this stuff, and you talking about how his brown eyes and everything like that, and as his superiors is listening to recording and documenting, and it's super embarrassing. And it's like, bitch, get your mind in the game here. It's like, oh my god, that part. It's like I did not care for it. I mean, it's cool that this dude is so debonair. He got this woman, like so into him, but it's just like, focus, chick, focus. Playtime later, business now. You know, give us the information. I'm recording this, okay? It's like, oh my god, that part is like got on my nerves with this chick. Like, just can you focus for 5 minutes while we trying to record this information? I need this for my superiors so that way we can help you defect, lady. And of course, Moneypenny is just loving this because she's the smirk on her face as she's listening. This is so priceless. It's really, really funny. But realizing she really doesn't know anything, because she's being played as a pawn too. Once they make the next, well, they both had gone to a rendezvous set up by Bay, who meet up with one of his sons at a particular stop, but they missed the stop. And once they get to the next stop, he speaks with one of the sons, and he has to relay the information about their father's death, and have the guy meet up with another MI6 agent at a particular location, which Grant ultimately ends up killing the MI6 agent and taking his place and meeting up with Bond on the train. And I guess not every agent knows each other. So because at first I'm wondering, like, doesn't Vaughn would know who the guy looks like, or at the very least his ethnicity? I don't know why I can't say that word. His race. At least help narrow down who he's looking for. But I guess they're spies, and don't want, if one of them get captured, they don't have any information on who other agents are. I guess that's the whole point. But Bond immediately, sees like, okay, this is clearly a complete scam. They end up having like a meal together, and Bond easily sees him, subtly, which is like honestly a smooth move, and the cinematography is amazing. Matter of fact, this movie, had some kind of award for the cinematography. Yeah, it won a BAFTA award for best cinematography. You can clearly see as to why, because you see the close up on the glass, because he suddenly knocks over, or accidentally knocks over, the glass of wine, and he pours another drink in the glass to serve to the girl, and you see, his his thumb and his finger, suddenly grind some dust into the bottle. But Bond, clearly he noticed it, but he didn't show like he noticed it, but he noticed it. Showing, this is what I mean, like, you wasn't really a real test in order to be able to beat Bond, because clearly Bond is so skilled, he can easily spot, somebody clearly, drugging a drink a mile away. And even if you, it doesn't really need to be like a spy to do this. If you're trained in military fashion, you should be able to spot exits, the number of people, all this stuff. in order to like move with your head on a swivel, even when you're seemingly not like you're doing it, you're clearly clocking things. Uh, so the dude wasn't very good. It's like at his job where he can like, okay, you can't clearly drug a drink anywhere near James Bond, because he would eye that. Uh, so the girl's doped and knocked out, and matter of fact, even though James Bond saw that he clearly drugged this girl, you don't know that it's some kind of poison. You just got lucky the fact that it's just some kind of knockout drug. But you don't know if that drug was actually poisonous. That's another thing. Uh, but they end up going back to the cabin room, and they go to a separate compartment as uh, Bond catch holds him at gunpoint, and it's like, okay, clearly you're not who you say you are. But then Bond, I mean, stupidly gets tricked into getting his gun knocked out of his hand and knocked out temporarily. And uh, uh, Bond convinces him like, oh, I got some, I don't know what I can't remember what they called them, but it's kind of like these gold, look like gold doubloons or something like that, that's attached to his briefcase that was given to him by Q Branch, and he attempts to bribe the guy with these in order to save his life. But he can, the guy tries to open up the briefcase himself, but if you don't open it in a particular way, there's a gas chamber inside the briefcase that will release this big gas, which Bond used to as a diversion in order to get one over and kill the guy. And before he ends up killing him, this movie has like the brutal fights. It's like they really like, it's like a scrap. It's not really like in type of kung fu moves or anything like that. This is like a good scrap with subtle like judo type of moves, but it's like a brawl. And kudos to like the fight choreography here, because it's like, man, you don't see this kind of thing in nowadays like that. It's very rare we get action movies that has that kind of brutality. I think the only other movie in modern day that actually strive to that is the John Wick films. Is off the top of my head. But Bond takes down that guy. Him and the girl get off the train, and they make their way to Venice. And of course, that chess grandmaster gets killed for his incompetence, because his plan didn't work out the way he said it would. So Klebb has to take matters in her own hands, goes to Istanbul under the guise as a maid, holds Bond at gunpoint, and makes Tatiana get the Lecter device to leave with it before they end up before she ends up trying to kill Bond. Tatiana distracts her, the gun gets knocked out of her hand, and of course Klebb tries to use her shoe knife, which was an actual spy weapon back in the day, but it's tipped with a poison that was used against the chess master who failed Spectre. But Bond keeps her at bay with a chair, and Tatiana uses a gun and shoots Cleb, killing her. And the movie ends with them before they make their way back to uh, Britain, have a nice little boat ride as the movie ends with them like hooking up. And that was From Russia with Love. A fun film. Like I said, I have my gripes here and there, but overall, it's a very successful film. One of the best, easily one of the best Sean Connery films, but also one of the best Bond films out there. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think of From Russia with Love. What's all your likes and dislikes? And yeah, I state my few dislikes that I have about this film, but overall, it was an immense enjoyment. Fun to revisit some Bond films here. But next one will be Goldfinger, because he loves gold. Wrong guy, but you know what I'm referencing. But I will see you guys later. Take care. Peace.